When Joe Biden was president, I would do show prep. And the night before, I'd go to bed and have an idea pretty much what I'm going to talk about the next day. And I'd get up, and that would be pretty much what I talked about. With Donald Trump, I go to bed, and I have an idea of the kinds of things I'll probably talk about the next morning. And then when I get up, nothing of what I thought I was going to talk about the night before, I talk about the next day, because so many things have happened in the interim. This is a CNN host, Kaitlan Collins, and she's on Late Night with Seth Meyers, talking about how much harder she has to work now that you know who is back in office, number 12.
So you're doing this every day. You're in D.C.
Yes.
The pace of the Trump administration seems to be moving pretty quickly. How are you holding up?
It is insane. And I think everyone is kind of like readjusting and re-remembering what it was like 4 years ago, 4 years ago. I remember when Biden first took office in January, the New York Times wrote the story about how quiet the weekends were, because for reporters, every weekend had just been like it was like a 7-day work week. And now we're back to that, basically, where it's just essentially nonstop every day. You kind of wake up like not knowing what you're going to be doing, what the schedule is. I was walking to get breakfast one day this week. I was like, okay, I'm going to have a nice little breakfast before I go to work. And halfway there, they're like, Trump's doing a press conference in an hour. And I physically ran back home so I could change and get ready.
I physically ran back home. How many other ways is there? We were talking yesterday about the Super Bowl performance by Kendrick Lamar. And Time magazine said, well, he kind of ran a risk because he didn't want to compromise his street cred, because after all, he talks a lot about oppression and racism. And this morning I pick up a news item, and Mr. Lamar has just purchased a $40 million house. So his personal battle against racism and oppression seems to be going pretty well. And regarding Mr. Samuel Jackson, who was his MC, do you know that Samuel Jackson has appeared in movies that collectively have earned more money than the movies any other actor has appeared in? I repeat. The films he's been in has grossed more money than the films anybody else has been in, including Tom Cruise, Harrison Ford, you name your actor. And in one decade, I can't remember which one it was, he appeared in more films than anybody else. Yet believes that America remains a racist country, and don't get me started on how he feels about Donald Trump. How can somebody like that, Samuel Jackson, succeed in a racist country in a profession that is incredibly competitive, without a whole bunch of non-blacks watching his work? Yet America remains a racist country as far as people like that are concerned. The other day we were talking about some of these really angry people like Sonny Hostins, Joy Reid. Who am I leaving out? And Maxine Waters. And they're married. Maxine Waters has been in a long-term marriage. Joy Reid married. Sonny Hostin appears to be happily married. Can you really be with somebody who's angry 24/7? Who believes if Donald Trump expels gas, it means he's racist? Unless it's an act. Unless it's a front. They're all wealthy. They all live in big homes. Somehow, some way, they were able to navigate their way into living in a neighborhood, primarily a majority white neighborhood. How does that happen? Barack Obama says racism is in America's DNA. Gets elected president. As I said before, in the third week of January 2009, the man walks into the Oval Office with a 70% approval rating, even though he got elected with just 52% of the vote. Now he has a net worth of over $400 million, 3 mansions, one of which is in the mean streets of Martha's Vineyard. where the percentage of blacks is what, 0.4%, if that? Yet racism is in America's DNA. It isn't just insulting. It isn't just hypocritical. It is sending a message to people, many of whom don't have guidance, many of whom don't have fathers to set them straight, that it doesn't matter what you do. The country's going to hold you back. Doesn't matter how hard you work. The rules are unfair to you. And it is a big, fat lie. To succeed in entertainment, a la Samuel Jackson, Kendrick Lamar, is extremely difficult. It is arguably one of the, if not the most competitive industry there is. Why? Because there are no, what economists call, barriers to entry. You can't wake up one day and say, I want to be an orthopedic surgeon. You have to have training and experience. But you can wake up one day and someone can put you in a movie. Someone could cast you in a TV show. I'm not saying it happens, but it's possible. As a result, there are a whole bunch of people against whom you compete if that's the field you want to go into. And yet somehow, some way, they've survived. Thanks for watching these clips from The Larry Elder Show. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a moment. More thought-provoking discussions are just a click away, so stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next one.